Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the 88. I am Dan Unaki Dan.
And I'm the Morgan B.
And today we are talking about cancer. Fuck that bitch. Fuck cancer. Kick cancer to the curb. Like
That's kind of
Hercules.
harsh.
But we're talking about the zodiac, the constellation, Cancer, the crab, the pincer, the crawfish, the crawdaddy, the lobster.
Like crevice.
So last episode we did with Gabe, Slick Dissident, and we did 3 constellations, or actually 4, and it went a little while. So went for 3 hours. So we decided to do one constellation today because it is a zodiac sign to maybe not make the show so long. So tell us what you think about that. If you think we should just keep doing them in 2s or 3s or 4s or whatever, or if we should break them up into bigger ones and smaller ones or something. But let's get cracking on Cancer.
Let's do it.
Cancer.
Literally.
So Cancer, the constellation, it's one of the 12 constellations of the zodiac. No shit. And it's located in the northern celestial hemisphere. Its name is Latin for crab and commonly represented as one. Cancer is a medium-sized constellation, an area of 506 square degrees, and its stars are rather faint. Its brightest star is Beta Canceri, having an apparent magnitude of 3.5. It contains 2 stars with no known planets, including 55 Cancri, which has 5, 1 super Earth, and 4 gas giants, one of which is in the habitable zone, and as such has expected temperatures similar to Earth. At the angular heart of this sector of our celestial sphere is Praesepe, Praesepe. Sepe.
Yes.
Praesepe.
Praesepe.
Which is
it's like
Messier.
The manger.
Yeah, which is Messier 44, one of the closest open clusters to Earth and a popular target for amateur astronomers. Turn my phone ringer off so people don't hear that no more. Cancer is a medium-sized constellation that is bordered by Gemini to the west, which is me, a Lynx to the north, which is you, Leo Minor to the northeast, Leo in the east, Hydra to the south, and Canis Minor to the southwest. The 3-letter abbreviation for the constellation, as adopted by the IAU in 1922, is CNC, the official constellation boundaries, as set by Belgian astronomer Eugene Delporte in 1930, are defined by a polygon of 3 main and 7 western edgework-forming sides. In the equatorial coordinate system, the right ascension coordinates of these borders lie between 07H and 55M, 19.7973S, and 09H, 22M, 35.0364S, while the declination coordinates are between 33.1415138, which is 10 times pi, and 6.4700689, covering 506 square degrees or 0.921% of the sky. It ranks 31st of the 88 constellations in size. It can be seen at latitudes between plus 90 degrees and negative 60 degrees, and is best visible at 9 p.m. during the month of March. Cancer borders the bright constellations of Leo, Gemini, Canis Minor. Under city skies, Cancer is invisible to the naked eye.
Beware of the Ides of March.
Indeed. If you ever seen Cancer, it looks like a Y, like an uppercase Y.
It really
Uh,
does.
yeah, I guess it doesn't look anything like a crab. I guess they just see the Y symbol and think pinchers because it kind of looks like,
Or or crevice.
yeah, it looks
It
like
means
a,
fertility too. I mean,
oh, yeah, it's definitely the yod.
it's like a little, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It like that's how you even say it in French. Le crevice.
Le crevasse. Um,
Yeah.
cancer, Cancer is the second dimmest of the zodiacal constellations, having only two stars above the fourth magnitude. The German cartographer Johann Bayer used the Greek letters Alpha through Omega to label the most prominent stars in the constellation, followed by the letter A, then lowercase b, c, and d. Within the constellation's borders, there are 104 stars brighter than or equal to apparent magnitude 6.5, also known as Altarf or Tarf. Beta Canceri is the brightest star in Cancer at an apparent magnitude of 3.5. Located 290 plus or minus 30 light years from Earth, it is a binary star system, so we call it the constellation. Its main component, or orange giant of special type K4 III, that is varies slightly from a baseline magnitude of 3.53, dipping by 0.005 magnitude over a period of 6 days. An aging star, it has expanded to around 50 times the sun's diameter and shines with 660 times its luminosity. It has a faint magnitude 14 red dwarf companion located 29 arc seconds away that takes 76,000 years to complete an orbit.
Mm.
Altarf represents a part of Cancer's body. At magnitude 3.9 is Delta Canceri, also known as Acellus, Asellus, Oculus,
Acelius borealis and
Oculus
Acelius
Australia.
australis.
Yeah,
Yes.
located 131 plus or minus 1 light years from Earth. It is an orange hued giant star that has swollen and cooled off the main sequence to become an orange giant with a radius 11 times and luminosity 53 times that of the sun. Pretty impressive. Its common name means southern donkey. The star also holds a record for the longest name. Its name, okay, here, let's go. Ark Ushanan Garusha Shutu. Try to say that one.
You
Uh,
did perfect.
I think I did it good enough. Derived from ancient Babylonian language, which translate to the southeast star in the crab. Delta Canceri also makes it easy to find X Canceri, the reddest star in the sky, known as Oculus Borealis, northern donkey. Gamma
Mm-hmm.
Canceri is a white-hued A-type subgiant of special type A1 IV and magnitude 4.67 that is 35 times as luminous as the sun. It is located 181 plus or minus 2 light years from Earth. Lota Canceri is a wide double star. The primary is a yellow-hued G-type bright giant star of magnitude 4.0, Located 330 plus or minus 20 light years from Earth. It spent much of its stellar life as a B-type main sequence star before expanding and cooling into its current state as it spent its core hydrogen. The secondary is a white main sequence star of spectral type A3V and magnitude 6.57, despite having different distances when measured by the Hipparcos satellite. The two stars share a common proper motion and appear to be a natural binary system. Located
Yep.
181 plus or minus 2 light years from Earth is Alpha Canceri, or Acubans. It's a multi star with a primary component and parent white main sequence star of spectral type A5 and magnitude 4.26. The secondary is a magnitude of 12 and is visible in small amateur telescopes. Its common name means the claw. Primary. The primary is actually two very similar white main sequence stars that are 5.3 AU distance from each other. And the secondary is two small main sequence stars, most likely red dwarfs, that are 600 AU from the main pair. Hence, the system is a quadruple one. I just want to say,
Hmm.
if you're drinking White Claws, it's probably going to give you cancer. I
Ew.
just thought about that right now. There's also something very addictive about White Claws because guys don't fucking drink beer anymore. They have switched to drinking this fucking foo-foo bullshit alcoholic beverage.
Okay,
And I
listen.
100% don't fucking understand it. I don't even like beer or anything. I don't drink very often. But still, if you're drinking White Claw, you might as well shave your pussy.
Okay, well, I thought the same thing because I drink red wine and that's just that, and that's all I drink.
That's fine.
But I will tell you this, no, I love a White Claw in the summer. I can't wait for summer so I can get some, I guess I'll get a different brand, right? But here's the deal with it. You do not get a hangover because it's so carbonated.
Mm. But if you have to drink that many of them,
And
like,
and I
is
and no
anybody
no no
really
no
getting
no. I
drunk
think
off White Claw? God, it's
no. Oh,
gross.
fuck yeah. It takes less.
It's
I
gross.
think it has more alcohol in it, like percentage per volume. I am almost certain it does. Anyway,
Okay, well,
but
I've
yeah, we
I've tried these.
probably are all gonna get cancer.
I have tried White Claws before, and what are the other ones called? Uh, there's another brand one too. I forget what it is, but I've also tried the Budweiser ones, and those ones are actually better, more flavor. But anyways, I don't even like
Gross. I've been
flavored
to the Bud
carbonated water anyway.
Anheuser-Busch brewery, and it smells so bad in there.
Ugh.
I can't drink that ever again.
Mm.
Ugh,
But anyways, enough about alcohol. Let's get to
yeah.
Zeta Canceri or Tegmine, the shell. It's a multiple star
Checkmate
system that contains
experience.
it's a multiple star system that contains at least stars located 82 light years from Earth. The two brightest components are a binary star with an orbital period of 1100 years. The brighter component is a yellow-hued binary pair, and dimmer component is a yellow-hued star of magnitude 6.2. The brighter component is itself a binary star with a period of 59.6 years. Its primary is a magnitude 5.6 and its secondary is a magnitude 6.0. The pair is at its greatest separation around 2019. 10 star systems have been found to have planets. Row
Mm.
1 Canceri, or 55 Canceri, or Copernicus is a binary star
Mm.
approximately 40.9 light years in distance from Earth. 55 Canceri consists of a yellow dwarf and a smaller red dwarf, with 5 planets orbiting the primary star. One low mass planet that may be either a hot, water rich world or a carbon planet, and 4 gas giants. 55
Is
Canceri
that not
A.
crazy?
Yeah, it's pretty interesting, isn't it?
It's just really nuts. Anyway, go ahead.
55 Canceri A, classified as a rare super metal rich star, is one of the top 100 target stars for NASA's terrestrial planet finder mission. You can all boo right now.
Why?
Boo.
Why? Why do you think that?
It's a hot, water rich world or a carbon
Metal.
planet. Oh, yeah, it's super metal rich. That's why. That's why.
Exactly why.
If they want to get
Anyway,
metal
go ahead.
rich, sorry. Ranked 63rd on the list.
It's 100% true.
The red dwarf 55 Canceri B, a suspected binary. It looks like a girl, talks like a girl, but has a dick. We suspect it to be binary. Appears to be gravitationally bound to the primary star, as the two share common proper motion. YBP 1194 is a sun-like star in the open cluster M67 that has been found to have 3 planets. Deep sky objects. That's my ASMR
Hmm.
voice. Deep sky. Cancer is best known among stargazers as the home of Precipice, Messier 44, an open cluster, also called the Beehive Cluster, located right in the
Yeah.
center of the constellation. Located about 590 light years from Earth, it's one of the nearest open clusters to our solar system. M44 contains about 50 stars, the brightest of which are the 6th magnitude. Epsilon Canceri is the brightest member of the magnitude 6.3. Precipice is also one of the larger open clusters visible. It has an
Whoop, whoop.
area of 1.5 square degrees, or 3 times the size of the full moon. It's most easily observed when Cancer is high in the sky, north of the equator. The period stretches from February to May. Ptolemy described the Beehive cluster as the nebulous mass in the breast of Cancer. It was one of the first objects Galileo observed with his telescope in 1609, sporting 40 stars in the cluster. Today, there are about 1,010 high probability members, most of them 68% red dwarfs. So a whole bunch of little red dwarfs. It's Lilliputian land. The Greeks and Romans
Yeah.
identified the nebulous object as a manger from which 2 donkeys, represented by the neighboring stars 1213 Achelous Borealis and 1210 Achelous Australis, were,
Represent.
were eating.
Those are two fixed stars, by the
Ah,
way.
thank you. The stars
You're
represent
welcome.
the stars represent the donkeys that the god Dionysus and his tutor Silenus, Selinus, I don't know, Silenus, rode in the war against the Titans. The ancient
Hmm.
Chinese interpreted the object as a ghost or demon riding in a carriage, calling it a cloud of
Yeah.
pollen blown from under willow catkins. The small, denser,
Ooh.
open cluster Messier 67 can also be found in Cancer, 2,600 light years from Earth. It has an area of approximately zero point 0.5 square degrees, the size of the full moon. It contains approximately 200 stars, the brightest of which are the 10th magnitude. Two, two, two. OSO JO 842 plus 1835 is a quasar used to measure the speed of gravity in the VLBI experiment conducted by Edward Fomalhaut and Sergei Kopylkin in September 2002. OJ-287 is a BL Lacerta object located 3.5 billion light years away that has produced quasi-periodic optimal outbursts going back approximately 120 years. As first apparent on photographic plates from 1891, it was first detected at radio wavelengths during the course of Ohio Sky Survey, and central
Mm.
sub its central supermassive black hole is among the largest known.
Yep.
She stars in such films as, no, just kidding. With a mass of 18 billion solar masses, more than 6 times the value
You're fucking
calculated
stupid.
for the previous larger objects. Hey, I'm just saying it's a massive black hole. It probably got made that way, right? From a whole lot of, you know,
It's black. It's just black and without eyes.
yeah, it's the beehole of the universe. Big old beehole.
Don't talk about my stars like that.
uh, I know
That's
she's
fighting
getting.
waves.
I know Morgan's going to get into some mythology here, but
1 second.
I just want to say the Greek Cancer was first recorded by Claudius Ptolemy in the second century CE in the mathematical syntaxis, aka Almagest, under the Greek name Karkinos. In the late 1890s, R.H. Allen asserted the following with no supporting citation. Cancer is said to have been the place for Akkadian sun of the south, perhaps from its position at the winter solstice in very remote antiquity, but afterwards it was associated with the fourth month, Duzu, uh, or Dumugzu, or June, July, and was known as the northern gate of the sun. Very
Yep.
few of Cancer stars are visible to the naked eye, and its brightest stars are only fourth magnitude. Cancer was often considered the dark sign, uh, quaintly described as black and without eyes. Dante alluded
Mm-hmm.
to its faintness in Paradiso and mentioned it being visibly for the whole night when it culminated at midnight in the northern hemisphere winter month. Then a light among them brightened, so that if Cancer one such crystal had, winter would have a month of only one day. Cancer was the backdrop to the sun's most northerly position in the sky, the summer solstice in ancient times, when the Earth's sun facing side was maximally tilted toward the south. In the Gregorian calendar, kept within a few days of June 21st, equivalently, this is the date when the sun is directly overhead as far north as 23.437 degrees north. The northernmost parallel when the sun is directly overhead is still called the Tropic of Cancer, even though the corresponding position on the sky now occurs in Taurus due to the precession of the equinoxes. Precession of the equinoxes. I'll just have to say that a couple
I know, but
times.
that's nuts because it's Taurus. So it's like, that's just, it all makes like, even mythologically, it just makes sense. Like, I don't know. Go ahead. Do you think, because like, you know how like so the Hebrews, and especially like the Jewish tribe, they assigned it to the tribe of Issachar. And Jacob, that's like he called it the strong ass. Like it's where the Aseli is like where the manger is, like where Jesus was born. And isn't that like the time of fertility? And it like represents fertility. So do you think
Mm-hmm.
that like that's when Jesus do you ever wonder if that's when like the next prophet or like Jesus or the Messiah or whomever you believe in is like gonna come or is supposed to be born? Like,
I have
isn't that
no
as,
clue.
wouldn't you think that that would, I don't know.
I don't know, but people still waiting for Jesus to come a second time are going to be sadly disappointed.
I'm just saying, like, it's an idea, you
That was
know.
a that was a sexual joke, more or less, not necessarily that he won't ever show up. Again, because he's
You
taking
never
long.
know with you.
It's probably going to be pretty limp by the time it's going to be half flaccid by the time he comes again. But yeah, I mean, like I said before, it has a massive black hole, so it's the booty, right? Um,
It's the crevice. And like, you know how
butt
okay,
notch,
so I
the
went down
butt
like
notch.
these weird like rabbit holes about like
That's why people. That's
where
why it's
babies
called.
come from and like why we give birth and what like how we get pregnant out of nowhere and it's like literally called a crevice.
Hmm,
Literally.
hmm,
And I'm like and like ew, that's it's which is like decay,
crevasse.
right?
Is it?
Which and so yes. And so I was like, "Oh my God." But
Hmm.
anyway, yeah.
I
So
wonder
I
if
just
it's
said
related.
that
It
that's
could be
it.
related to something about fertility. Maybe that's why you. That's why people can get crabs.
It's definitely related to fertility. And I definitely picture a vagina when I picture like somebody getting crabs, even if it's a dude.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Anyway, go
Hmm.
ahead.
uh, yeah. The close conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn in 1563, which was observed by Tycho Brahe,
Whoa, whoa.
and led him to note the inaccuracy of existing um, ephemerides, ephemerides, and to begin his own program of astronomical measurements occurred in Cancer not far from Praesepe. In Greek mythology, Cancer is identified with a crab that appeared while Hercules fought the many-headed Lernaean Hydra. Hercules slew the crab. I'm not going to say all that because I'm going to let Morgan get into that. But there is some mythology associated. And Morgan, when I was looking up this crab, the Cancer, and
Le crevice.
I came across some like explanations of why it's like the 6 9 and the 69
Yeah.
symbol, which also has to do with sex, right? But I
I mean,
saw
I
so
guess people
one
make
of them,
everything sexual.
yeah, one of them said that it had to do with the crab's claws, so it's like it's two pincers out in front of them, and then the other
Right.
one said it had to do with two female breasts, and
I could see that.
I thought that was kind of interesting because I had never heard of that before. Always just associated it with the crab claws. But so that one's an interesting one, yeah.
That is interesting because, like, when I think of like symbolism, what has started really, I don't know, when I read some things, and look at things, sometimes I can just understand on it. on a weird level that probably makes zero sense to anyone. But when I look at like signs, it almost looks like two nooses. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Like like Leo looks like a noose for sure. Like it's
Mm,
you know what I mean? Like
no.
well, it has to do with like noetic and like noetic
Gnos-
or
Gnosticism?
no, because when
Gnosticism?
get too not, you gonna lose your nose sticks and your Gnostics and your snozberries taste like snozberries, you know?
Okay. I have one more thing before you get into the mythological stuff.
Yes.
And this comes from Cancer and Esoteric Astrology um, website. It says Cancer is the gateway into life. This sign represents the
Ooh,
actual birth. It also represents the old age. This sign holds the energy of those who need extra care, those who need to be nurtured and loved, and those that the world does not expect too much of them, except maybe a smile. The Cancer constellation receives the energy of the third ray of active intelligence and the seventh ray of ceremonial order. This is the energy of life on Earth, the energy of matter itself, the energy that gains momentum and the knowledge through experience. And in Cancer, that experience gets started. The Cancer person starts
that
with the
makes
moon
sense.
as their ruler, transmitting the energy of the fourth ray of harmony through conflict. This energy is emphasized in Cancers in their very active emotional nature, represented by the moon. This accounts for their known mood swings, for their many phobias and fears, some based on reality, some not, a childlike view of the world, prone to taking sides. You are either from my family, hometown, tribe, or country, and therefore are on my side, or you're a foreigner, and therefore I should be careful from you. Many Cancers yearn for a home. They either did not experience a stable home as a young child, or they were not nurtured with the full understanding and emotional support they needed. Therefore, for them, under the moon's influence, having a home and a family becomes of paramount importance, and so many of them find it very hard to grow up and be the mother or father of that home. Something their nature stays young, and responsibility is one of the hardest things for them to cope with. They insist on viewing other people's emotions as their own and are very surprised to find out that other people feel different emotions from their own. They are also surprised that other people want other things in life different to their own wishes. They are changeable as the moon changes and yearn for outer stability when it is their inner emotional stability that they truly want. Prone to nostalgia, pa- very patriotic, and attached to their home traditions, those become the shell that shields them from the world and keeps them locked within their confines. At the same time, they are very giving, open hearted, and ready to be there for others, especially those in need. Cancer is a cardinal sign, so they keep on trying and attempting to build a home, a career, a place for themselves where they can be secure and invite others to share that in that security. It's just that coping with the world and all of its demands seems a bit too much sometimes, and their instinctive taking of others' feelings as their own can be very hard on the emotional body. As their consciousness elevates, as they develop maturity and responsibility, as their emotional nature gets purified from selfish motives, they receive the influence of Neptune as the esoteric ruler. With Neptune around, it is unconditional love to everybody, the ability to heal emotional wounds of all kinds, and be a home or represent the energy of home to others, The home that accepts you just as you are, the home that nurtures you both physically and emotionally, where you're taken care of when needed, and where your life with the people you love. They no longer need to hide behind the armors of overweight or hide at home. They are free to spread their beauty, warmth, and giving nature to all who need it. It is this energy of real devotion that helps them create the home they have been dreaming. That's a little bit about the zodiacal, esoteric astrology of Cancer.
And that doesn't mean necessarily just like Cancer, like sun people. I mean, you have to take in like their moon sign and maybe rising sign as well, that have to do with those types of personalities. Just saying.
Yeah,
Especially like if they're a Cancer moon, that's nuts. Anyway, thank you. My
Cancer
cousin
moon.
is a Cancer.
That's
My
like
cousin is a
prostate
Cancer, and I
cancer,
thought
huh?
about her.
Prostate.
I
That's in your booty. It's in your hole. It's in your black
was
hole.
just thinking, shut up. You are so stupid.
I have to make this somewhat funny because it's a lot of just detail, about numbers and specifics. So gotta spice it up a little bit, make it entertaining.
Cancer is a huge black hole, but it's also birth and fertility.
Black hole
So
sun, won't you come wash
that's
away
like,
the rain?
yeah.
Black hole sun, won't you come
And you want to
wash
know the
away
interesting
the
part of all of this? Like, really,
Hit us with it.
it's, it's just really dumb because, like, after all of this, I mean, actually, I guess, well, at the beginning, I mean, like, Hera obviously is like the most jealous person in the world, which I mean, I don't who would want Zeus as a husband. But anyway, she's a freaking queen. So she was like, she apparently drove Hercules so mad during his lifetime that he killed his wife and their children. So he was trying to um get forgiveness, and what he like did was turn to Apollo, who then turned to um I'm sorry, uh uh King Eurystheus, to put him through the 12 labors of what we call the 12 labors of Hercules. But King Eurystheus is still under the control of Hera, so these labors were completely impossible, or they were supposed to be, or what have you, or like, whatever. So this constellation, or what has to do with it, like, it's like, what is the crab even doing here? You know what I mean? Truly. Like, it has nothing to really do with the crab. You should call it the labor of Hydra, or the whatever. I don't know. But anyway, so yeah, he killed his whole family. He's like, "Yep, I guess I'll kill you and my kids." And that's why he went to Apollo and was grieving. And Apollo was like, "Okay, well, I'll send you here." And it's like, damn, these gods are just assholes. You know what I mean? Like, what is really going on here? But anyway,
Hercules
so
killed his whole family?
yeah, you didn't know that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, he killed his wife and he killed his children.
Hmm.
And that's why he has to do these labors. the 12 labors of Hercules.
Mm-hmm.
And this is having to do with the second one, and that is killing Hydra. And like, okay, so what happened is like uh, hold on, let's just see
No,
here.
hold on.
Oh yeah. So like yeah, hold on. So
No,
I
hold
just
on.
want to be clear because you know how all this stuff is like layered. So like what Hercules would do is he would try to shoot his arrow at this immortal one-headed Hydra snake, right? It only had one head. And as he was like shooting his flaming arrows at the snake, the head would come off, but then two would come back. So it ended up having nine heads, one of them being immortal, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in that case, I would freak the fuck out. Like, what the hell is this? Anyway, so his nephew, with the help of his nephew, which is I think interesting, Iolaus, Iolaus. This is like his introduction to which uh I- anyway, that's Hercules's nephew. And with his help, like he was able to torch the necks of each decapitated snakehead with what they would call a firebrand, so
Mm-hmm.
like they'd scorch it. So yeah. Um and then with the immortal head that they had left, it was decapitated with the help of Athena because she's the one who gave Hercules the golden sword.
Mm-hmm.
So while all the I mean, it just, and then it just all keeps going. But anyway, while this was occurring, all of this
Hold up.
craziness, um,
You glitched out, and now you're gone. All right, so we had a little glitch action, and we were at Athena giving Hercules the golden sword.
yes. So while all of this is like occurring, um, Hera sends a giant crab to try to distract Hercules while all of this is going on. And he's like, whoops, I stepped on you. And that's that. There's the crab. And that's basically how the crab made its grand entrance into the zodiac because it's very insignificant to that labor that it's associated with. But I guess it's not. I don't know because
You kicked it
I've
straight to the
also
stars.
I heard that Hera catastrophized the crab like immediately because she made it, and Hercules killed it, but that's a different version because what happened was um the the centaur is the reason. Okay, so when the Hydra was killed, what Hercules did was he sealed his fate. What a dumbass. He dipped his arrows in the poison of the Hydra. Okay, before he's like, all right, I did my shit. I'm out of here. Let's go. Wait, I'm gonna make sure my arrows are like legit before I leave here. Like dip
Mm-hmm.
them all in, the,
Mm-hmm.
killed the centaur Nisus with it, and then it, that's how he essentially died because when
That's how who died.
the centaur Hercules
Oh, I didn't know
later on.
Hercules died. Oh, okay. Carry on.
Anyway, yeah. So it it's all about the centaur and anyway. So yeah, what happened then is the centaur that you know got killed by Hercules from the poisonous arrows got catastrophized into the sky. And because it was one of Hydra's favorite monsters,
Harris.
yes, I'm sorry, Hera's favorite monsters. So she was like, okay. And then it slowly transformed into the crab, and then cancer is what it's now called. So I don't know.
Hmm.
But what I do know is all of this was in vain because he did not pass this labor. It wasn't counted.
He didn't pass it?
Nope,
I thought he completed all 12 labors.
not this one. Eurystheus did not count the success of the Hydra as one of the labors, using an excuse the fact that Hercules asked his nephew Iolus for help.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
disqualification. I also
He didn't even
heard
get like a phone a family. Well, Eurystheus is a dick.
I also heard that Hercules realized that he could just choke out the Hydra, and so he choked it out.
Isn't it more interesting though, like to have gods and like weapons involved?
No,
Why?
because I think it's interesting
And
that
like
he realized
my
that
head.
when he shot the arrows at the head of Hydra, it grew two back. So he's like, oh shit, in order to stop having all these heads grow back, I'm just gonna fucking choke out that bitch and then it's gonna die. And then it won't grow more heads. That's intelligence.
Yeah, I could see that as an after story because I mean, Hercules is half human, and I think another thing, like a character trait that is with him is like the hero, right? The hero's
Mm-hmm.
journey. It's all about
Yeah.
Hercules. He's definitely I attach like a want or a need for like attention or some sort of like, something to
What
do with
what
him.
what were some of the other labors of Hercules? Do you know offhand? Like, does it have
Well,
to do?
yeah,
Does is
Aquarius was
so? It's like Hera's monsters, like all the animals of the zodiac, and was the 12 labors have to do with Hercules going into each house and defeating that monster of the zodiac?
um if you want to look at it in a hermetic type of way, yes, that's definitely like a school of thought about it. It's a way that some people um have literally put into like theology and stuff. Not necessarily, but the same people wrote the same stuff, if that makes sense. So um you have to understand that like it doesn't really, I don't know, really like what I'm trying. It's it's just one school of thought about it. Then you have several branches of that. So, when it comes to like mysticism and how you believe in things, but that's a hermetic type of view, in
Okay.
my humble opinion. The 12 labors of Hercules and it having to do with the zodiac. Yes,
Okay. Do you have any other
it's a most definitely good way of like looking at it. We just did Aquarius.
uh-huh. Do you have any more
That was,
to add to the cancer
well,
stuff?
yeah. Oh yeah. So I was just gonna say that um I wanted to add about the dung beetle because I think that's freaking nuts. Uh but I have so many notes about it that you like hit all of the things. Like
Okay,
props to
well,
you. I really didn't.
well, go ahead and find in your notes about the dung beetle, and then I have some other mythologies to add.
Oh, that's nice. Okay. Well, so the Greeks like they looked at it as a nest ball of earth and its claws, a
Uh-huh.
water beetle, a crayfish, a lobster, and then
Hmm.
later added a small fit or a small shrimp. This is
Hmm.
like the growth of this constellation, according to the Greeks.
Hmm.
With Cancer Minor. Cassius wrote it was the breastplate of the righteousness, using Ephesians
Breastplate.
6:14, while yes, while Praesepe and Aceli are the manger of infant Jesus with an ox and an ass standing by. And Peleus has it to do with Septrino, the cold northern winds. And the symbol, which we were just talking about earlier, this is still in the Greek lens of things. It's the remains of some creature, but also referred to as two asses that took place in a battle with giants, and they were rewarded a place in the sky for doing that. That's a Macedonian tale. So I think
Macedonian.
that's pretty cool. Macedonian, whatever. So and Jensen says it's the tortoise of Babylonia and Egypt.
Mm.
2000 BC. Scarabaeus is what the Egyptians called this constellation, and it was sacred to them for immortality. Um, So there we have like baby Jesus, and there we have like immortality. So like those are two positive aspects, I guess you could say,
Uh-huh.
of the mythos about this. I don't know. Uh, but so I thought it was interesting that you did say that about the Acadians, but so they also refer to it as the Nagar Asagaga, like Nagur dash Asagga, which was the waterman of the workway, but also as the cuneiform Nangaru and Puluku, meaning division or alluding to the fact that the celestial collier has a dividing line. Um, so I thought that was interesting. Um, yeah. So here we go. Whatever else you have about it, you go right
Okay.
ahead.
It says Cancer is also mentioned in several other myths, including Roman and Greek legends, as well as Norse mythology. In the Egyptian story of Heru, Ur, and Set, a giant crab named Tam sets itself on fire to defeat the god Set. In ancient Sumerian texts,
Ooh,
the gods,
Phoenix.
uh, the god, the gods Anshur and Kishar were said to have created Cancer from their own spit. The creature has even been referenced in modern pop pop culture with its inclusions in films such as The Avengers, an animated series like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, while often portrayed as an annoying pest or weak opponent in these stories. It does serve to emphasize Cancer's historical importance and enduring popularity. Cancer's role in
Always.
symbolism. Overall, Cancer plays an
Yeah.
important role in mythology as a symbol of strength and tenacity. Despite its defeat in these stories, the giant crab is still remembered as a powerful creature that should not be taken lightly. Whether viewed as an annoyance or a formidable opponent, Cancer has left an enduring mark on the world mythology that will continue to fascinate people for generations to come. So,
Seriously.
so I think that's kind of interesting. You
Because
take
even
it.
the child, well, what I was going to say is even the Chaldeans referred to it, and also the Platonist, if you want to get to like Greek days, referred to it as the gate of men, which it's like where the humans descended from to here. So that's where you came from heaven to be human, basically, according to the Chaldeans and the Platonists. Um, if it's with Scorpio and Pisces, it's the watery trigon. It's also, as you stated earlier, the house of the moon, from the ancient belief that this luminary has been here since like literally creation. And what they also call it is the horoscope of the world, as being all the signs are closest to the zenith here. So that's just like a few, like, like just different, proof that it's always been here. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Um, I was just gonna say that it's interesting that it's like the weak little crab or whatever. That's often portrayed as like this annoying little creature. That's just kind of an annoyance. And they referred to like some of the superhero shows as just having to defeat it as like it racing after them or whatever. But it also made me think of like wrestling, because you could often think of like these wrestlers as superheroes or whatnot. They always have these weird kind of outfits and whatnot, like heroes.
Actors.
Yeah, but there's always like there used to be back in the day like these no name jabroni guys, who just were like had no name at all. And they're just like a little annoying creature that they had to destroy to get out of their way. So it's kind of like almost like it plays the Cancer role in that, and the main wrestler plays like the Herculean role in that. So I think that's interesting, as
Yeah.
like a little play in like real world stuff that goes on. Kind of like
Yeah. Well, don't.
bills. Bills are kind of cancerous. We have these annoying bills that come at us for things that we buy or spend money on, and then we have to take care of them, and they can kind of come annoying. Or telemarketers, that's kind of a Cancer role too. Yeah,
Anything corporate,
yeah, yeah. It's kind of coming
anything,
after.
any
Yeah,
corporate. And I'm not, well, you're going after someone else. Like you are conning someone else. Doesn't matter if you're in retail, doesn't matter what you're doing, you're selling something if you're working, basically, right? Isn't that what you're doing? Yeah.
Mhm.
So, I it just that's what I would
Yeah,
think of
I
too.
was just trying to think of these other like cancerous type rules that we see in like everyday life, just to apply it to this zodiacal sign and constellation, just because it's kind of interesting to see that archetype in the real world, and think of it as like, oh, that's like the Cancer constellation or the Cancer zodiac. It's interesting. It'll be cool when we go over some of the other ones too, to like spot out um, those archetypes in real life. But that's about all I got.
Oh, yeah, and you will. You the like more we go into this, the more will be revealed. It's crazy. So I hope everybody stays tuned. More to come.
Yeah, stay tuned. Next week we are doing the dogs. We got 3 dogs. It's gonna be a 3 dog night. So we're gonna yeah, get into that next week, and hopefully we're gonna get some more guests on the show soon. And and that when that happens, I think that we might just let the guests shine and kind of bring their constellation to the table,
Yeah.
and let them have the spotlight a little bit. Um, and then we can both research that same constellation and add to what they bring to the table. I think that might be
Yeah, or just
a
ask
better
some
way to do it.
questions.
Yeah. So this might take us a lot longer than we thought. That's okay, because
It'll be fun.
it will be. Um, you said earlier like Hera's Monsters. I think that would be such a good
Yeah.
like podcast name, Hera's Monsters. And then you could just
Hair's monsters,
talk about cryptoids and
gods and
cryptozoology.
monsters.
Like, yeah. And some of these weird creations in Egypt with dog heads and bird heads and what's that? What's the name for that?
It's so
Something
Anubis,
something amorphic, uh, anamorphic,
anthropomorphic.
anthropomorphic. There you go. Maybe that's it. But anyways, until next
Perhaps I'm
time,
wrong.
anthropomorphic. Yeah.
Hey, hey.
Until next time, everybody. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in, and send us some messages or something. Um,
Yeah.
and don't forget, look up.